13 times 1.
13.
13 times 2.
26.
13 times 3.
39.
13 times 4.
52.
13 times 5.
65.
13 times 6.
78.
13 times 7.
91.
13 times 8.
104.
13 times 9.
117.
13 times 10.
130.
13 times
100,
11.
143.
13 times 12.
156.
13 times 13.
169.
13 times 14.
182.
13 times 15.
195.
Good job, Zach.
E ist die it, ms ist das errant, first conjugation, perfect tense. E ist die it, ms ist das errant, first conjugation, perfect tense. Possessive pronoun adjectives, singular, my, your, his, her, its, plural, our, your, their. Possessive pronoun adjectives, possessive pronoun adjectives, my, your, his, her, its, our, your, their. In 1517, Martin Luther began the Protestant Reformation by printing the 95 Theses that made Pope Leo X excommunicate him. Later, John Calvin joined the Reformation. This is how it all began. In 1517, Martin Luther began the Protestant Reformation. In 1517, Martin Luther began the Protestant Reformation by printing the 95 Theses that made Pope Leo X excommunicate him. Later, John Calvin joined the Reformation. This is how it all began. In 1517, Martin Luther began the Protestant Reformation.
This is CC, Cycle 2, Week 7 History. Tell me about the Reformation. So it starts out in 1517. So we're going to do a little sign language here. We're going to make a 5, but we're going to keep our hands together. We're going to go like this. So you're blinking it, that means 15. So in 15, and then you're going to make a 7, which your thumb and ring finger come together, and then you're going to flick that. 17. So in 1517, Martin, here's your M sign, Luther, here's your L sign, began, just like start, the Protestant, so we're making the sign for Jesus, Protestant, and then we're gonna kind of rotate our hands, Reformation. By printing the 95, so you're gonna hold up 9 fingers, 90, and then take the 9 down, or the 4 down, so you have 5. Theses that made Pope Leo, here's your L, the 10th, you're gonna make an X, and then excommunicate, we're just gonna take the X down. Him, later, here's your later sign, John Calvin, here's your C, join, again, that Reformation sign of the hands switching places. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. In 1517, Martin Luther began the Protestant Reformation by printing the 95 Theses that made Pope Leo X excommunicate him. Later, John Calvin joined the Reformation. Good luck.
What are 6 forms of pollution? 6 forms of pollution are noise, air, water, land, thermal, radioactive. Noise, air, water, land, thermal, radioactive. What are 6 forms of pollution? 6 forms of pollution are noise, air, water, land, thermal, radioactive. Noise, air, water, land, thermal, radioactive. What about humans holding cats as a form of pollution? I mean, it breaks the cycle of our well-being. Someone help me, please.
This week, we will be learning about European peninsulas. The first one is the Iberian Peninsula, which is right here in Spain. The second is the Balkan Peninsula, which is right here in Greece. Then you have the Scandinavian Peninsula, which is Norway and Sweden. And then you have the Apennine Peninsula, which is right here in Italy. So now I ask and you point, where is the Apennine Peninsula? Where is the Scandinavian Peninsula? Where is the Balkan Peninsula? And where is the Iberian Peninsula? Now I point and you tell me. Hey guys! Okay, so I have Trenton here and we're ready to start. Timeline. Start at the beginning of the ages. Age of ancient empires. Creation to circa 450 AD. Creation and the fall. The flood and the Tower of Babel. Mesopotamian, Sumer, Egyptians. 3000 BC, 3000 BC. Indus River Valley Civilization, Minoans and Mycenaeans. 7 wonders of the ancient world. Patriarchs of Israel. 2000 BC, 2000 BC. Hittites and Canaanites, Cush Assyrians, Babylonians, China, Shang Dynasty, Hinduism and India, Phoenicians and the alphabet, Olmecs of Mesoamerica, Israelite exodus and desert wandering, Israelite conquest and judges, Greek dark ages, Israel's united kingdom. 1000 BC, 1000 BC, early Native Americans. Israel divides into 2 kingdoms, Homer and Hesiod, Rome founded by Romulus and Remus. Israel falls to Assyria, Assyria falls to Babylon, Lao Tzu, Confucius, Buddha. Judah falls to Babylon, temple destroyed. Babylon falls to Persia, Jews return and rebuild the temple. Roman Republic, Golden Age of Greece, Peloponnesian Wars. Persia falls to Alexander the Great. India's Mauryan Empire, Mayans of Mesoamerica, Punic Wars, Rome conquers Greece. Roman dictator Julius Caesar, Caesar Augustus and the Pax Romana, John the Baptist. Woohoo! Hope you got it. Try again if not. Jesus the Messiah. Year 1 in AD, year 1 in AD, year 1 in AD. Pentecost and the early church. Persecution spreads the gospel. Herod's temple destroyed by Titus. Diocletian divides the Roman Empire. Constantine legalizes Christianity. India's Gupta dynasty. All right, so here are week 7 hand motions explained for the timeline. So we're going to start with Jesus the Messiah. So to sign for Jesus, you're going to take your middle fingers and touch the center of your hand to show the nails in his hand. So Jesus the Messiah. So you're going to do an ASLM, which your thumb is underneath. That's an M. Across, this shows royalty. He's the Messiah. So Jesus the Messiah. Then you have Pentecost, which you want to show the tongues of fire. So you wouldn't touch your tongue, but almost like you're going to touch your tongue. Tongues of fire. So you have Pentecost and the early church. So your left hand is an S, and then you have a C on the top for church. So you have Pentecost and the early. The next one is persecution spreads the gospel. So you'll do an S hand, which for an S, your thumb is over your hand. Persecution and the gospel, so that's your G sign, and it's just like you're turning pages of the Bible. Persecution and the gospel. Then you have Herod's temple. To sign T, you have your thumb in between your middle and your index finger. So Herod's temple destroyed by Titus. And then you have Diocletian, so your D sign here, Diocletian's divides the Roman Empire. Then you have Constantine legalizes Christianity, just like you're showing Jesus again. And then you have India's Gupta dynasty. You're going to show the sign for gold again. So let's repeat all of that. So we have Jesus, the Messiah, Pentecost and the early church, persecution spreads the gospel, Herod's temple destroyed by Titus, Diocletian divides the Roman Empire, Constantine legalizes Christianity, India's Gupta dynasty. Good luck. Before cell phones, computers, and even the first cameras, the cyanotype was the original photo reproduction process. It uses ultraviolet light, or UV, from the sun to change the color pigments in the paper. By casting shadows from an object you might find, like a feather or a handful of buttons, you can create designs unaffected by the light that at first stay blue. During the development stage, these areas turn white, and the exposed areas return to dark blue. Two separate reactions work together with your creativity to form a picture. Experiment with a dry erase marker or sunscreen to paint directly on the plastic panel to understand how different objects can affect your final results. For this experiment, I used a jacaranda leaf, a rose, and a bougainvillea leaf. And then this is a clear piece of plastic. And then inside this black bag are sunprint paper. So it needs to be protected from the UV light, so you just want to get it out kind of last minute. So I took my jacaranda leaf, I put it over my plastic panel, it's an acrylic panel, and then underneath is the paper. So I then took that whole unit and placed it in the sun for about 5 minutes. Once I was done with that, I put that in a pot of water for about 5 minutes to let it process. Then I hung up the paper on my cabinet to let it dry. Then this was my final product. So this was the jacaranda leaves, which I thought were the best. We also tried the rose, which did not work out very well. I think stencils would actually be a really good idea for this project. Here, and Chloe in the background, and we're going to talk about our fine arts for the next few weeks. We're actually going to use the tin whistle. You want to show us your tin whistle, Trenton? Yeah. So all of us at home are going to get a tin whistle, and if you have more than one person in your family, it's probably pretty good to identify your own tin whistle. So Trenton is going to use Captain America from the Avengers. He's going to put it somewhere on his tin whistle so that we know that it's his. And then he's also going to make sure you don't cover any holes. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we're going to put it in his backpack so he doesn't forget it. And this week we're going to learn some parts about the tin whistle. So we have the mouthpiece, which is that black part on the top. And then we have the fipple, which is the hole in the mouthpiece. You want to show us that? Okay. And then you have the barrel, which is the long barrel part of it. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then our left hand is going to go on the top when we play it, and our right hand is on the bottom. So you want to always remember that. Left hand on the top, right hand on the bottom. Don't play it yet. Okay. And then we have finger hole number 1, you can show us that. Finger hole number 2. Finger hole number 3. 4, 5, and 6. There should be 6 holes on it. So what hand goes on top, Trent?
The right hand. Left hand.
Yeah, the left hand goes on top. So don't forget that. And that's the beginning. Can you make a sound out of it for us? All right. All right.